Chosen one, lock your attention on this message right now. That uneasiness you have been carrying, the one that has no name, the one that woke up with you this morning. Stop trying to explain it away. The enemy is not panicking because you are falling apart. He is panicking because of who is about to walk through your door. It all shifts before the week is out. The preparation, the waiting, the prayers you whispered in rooms where no one was watching. They were all building toward this, not toward a distant future, toward an arrival. And here is what you need to understand right now. They are coming, and they will come with no announcement, no countdown, no warning signal. Think back to that moment earlier this week when you almost gave up on the expectation, when you told yourself nothing was moving, when you sat in the quiet and convinced yourself you had been forgotten. You did not know it then, but that moment of surrender was not defeat. It was the final requirement. Heaven was waiting for you to stop gripping the timeline so tightly, and the second you let go, the meeting was scheduled. You did not stumble onto this message. The algorithm did not work overtime to find you. The Holy Spirit did. This is a divine appointment, sealed before the foundations of the earth were laid. You are not being prepared for something that might happen. You are being prepared for something that is already in motion. Stay through every second of this message, because in the next few minutes, I am going to show you exactly who is coming, and why the enemy has been working so hard to keep you distracted before the meeting. I am going to walk you through the spiritual signs you may have dismissed as coincidence, so you can recognize the moment when it arrives. And at the end, I am going to give you the declaration that positions you correctly before the encounter takes place. Do not leave this message early. Your future self is standing on the other side of this meeting. And if you walk away now, you walk away underprepared for the most significant arrival of this season. My name is Zerekiel. For years I have been studying what happens in the invisible realm when a chosen one is standing on the edge of a divine encounter. The warfare that intensifies right before contact. The isolation that feels like abandonment. And the sudden arrival that rewrites everything. More than 10,000 chosen ones have walked through their awakening using what I teach here. If this message is hitting different, subscribe now and turn on notifications. Your spirit led you here. Do not let the algorithm decide if you come back. I know what the last 72 hours have felt like. The atmosphere has not been normal. It has been charged like the air pressure shifts right before a storm breaks open. You have been on edge, and you could not explain why. Maybe you found yourself stopping in the middle of ordinary tasks this week, staring at nothing, feeling a pull in your chest like something was trying to get your attention, but you could not locate the source. Or maybe you woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning with a sudden alertness, not from fear exactly, but from something that felt like a summons. Like your spirit recognized a frequency your mind had not processed yet. You feel like you are on the threshold of something enormous, but no, one around you seems to sense it. And that isolation has given the enemy room to work, because in that silence, the accuser has been whispering a very specific lie. Listen carefully to your own thoughts, right now. He has been telling you that the reason you feel this way, the reason the anticipation keeps rising and then collapsing, is because you have already missed the meeting. He has been replaying that moment when you acted out of fear instead of faith. That moment when you made the decision you now question. That moment when you chose wrong and then could not take it back. He is telling you that because of that moment, whoever was coming has already passed by. That the encounter was rerouted. That you disqualified yourself and now you are waiting for something that is no longer coming to you. That is the lie. And it has been spoken with precision to stop you from preparing. But I need you to hear what the scripture actually says about this moment. Isaiah 43 verse 19 says, "Behold, I will do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth. Shall you not know it? I will even make a road in the wilderness and rivers in the desert." Listen to what that promise actually says. Not that he might, not that he is considering it. Behold, now it shall spring forth. This is not a future hope being dangled to keep you compliant. This is a present tense declaration of an arrival already in motion. The road is being made right now. The meeting is not being rescheduled. It is being constructed in real time, in the very terrain the enemy tried to use to strand you. You are not a chosen one who missed the window. You are a chosen one standing inside the window while it is opening. The heaviness you feel is not punishment. It is preparation. It is the weight of something significant approaching your atmosphere. You do not feel this way because you are at the end of your road. You feel this way because something is at the end of its journey toward you. That moment you thought disqualified you was not a detour. It was the final coordinate the Most High needed to pinpoint your exact location. They are coming. They are coming with no warning. And you are already in position. What you just heard wasn't entertainment. It was confirmation. And if you're ready to go deeper, the Chosen One's mantle will show you exactly why God separated you before birth, why the attacks came so early, and what He's unlocking in this season, code by code, until you're walking the life He already wrote over you. The link is waiting in the first pinned comment, but not for long. Now let's go deeper into what is actually happening. Because the enemy did not just try to make you give up, he tried to make you give up at the exact wrong moment. Or rather, from his perspective, the exact right one. That is the part that most people never see until it is already over. He does not attack randomly. He attacks strategically. And the strategy is always the same. Maximum pressure, minimum light, precisely when the arrival is closest. He needs you blind and discouraged the moment before the encounter, because if you are standing in clarity when they come, he cannot interrupt the transaction. Think about what happened to Elijah at the brook Cherith. Ravens brought bread, the water sustained him, and then the brook dried up. Not because God abandoned him, because God was moving him. The drying of the brook was not a sign of punishment, it was a signal of transition. The provision did not stop, it relocated, and Elijah had to walk toward the widow at Zarephath before the next chapter could begin. The discomfort was the direction. The drought was the invitation. What has dried up in your life recently? What provision, what relationship, what sense of certainty used to flow and now feels like cracked earth? Do not mourn it the way you have been. That is not loss. That is God saying the next thing is not here. Start walking. But here is where it goes deeper. Because the dryness was never the real battle. The real battle was happening in your identity while the brook was drying. When things stop flowing, the mind reaches for explanations, and the enemy has a library of them ready. You made the wrong choice. You moved too fast. You trusted the wrong person. You prayed, but your faith was not clean enough. He stacks these explanations one on top of another, until you have built a case against yourself that is more detailed than any accusation your enemies ever launched. And the dangerous thing about self-accusation is that it feels like honesty. It disguises itself as discernment. It calls itself humility, while it quietly dismantles your ability to receive. The scripture says that the accuser accuses the brethren before the throne day and night. Do you understand what that means? His job is not just to tempt you into sin. His job is to convince the court of heaven that you are disqualified. And when that fails, because it always fails when you are covered, he brings the case to a different court, the one between your ears. And that court, unlike heaven's, does not always rule in your favor by default. You have to govern it. This is the part that coming up ahead will crack something open in you. Stay with me, because it is the piece that most people miss at the exact moment they need it most. Before you can receive what is coming, something has to happen inside your understanding of time, because you have been living in the gap between what God promised and what you can see. And that gap has been training you in one of the most dangerous spiritual habits a chosen one can develop. The habit of measuring divine faithfulness by human timelines. God does not operate in sequence the way your calendar does. He operates in convergence. He is not building your story one chapter at a time from beginning to end. He is weaving every thread simultaneously. Your past, your future, the people who are being prepared for you right now, the doors that are being aligned, the conversations that have already happened in the spirit that your natural eyes have not yet witnessed. When it comes together, it will not look like a gradual build. It will look like a sudden arrival. And the people watching from the outside will call it luck. You will know it is architecture. This is what happened to Ruth. She did not experience a slow and steady improvement in her circumstances. She experienced grief, displacement, foreign soil, exhausting labor in another man's field, and then, in what seemed like a single afternoon, Boaz noticed her. The whole trajectory shifted in a moment. But that moment was not random. It was the result of every prior decision aligning. Her loyalty to Naomi, her willingness to glean in humility, her choice to keep working when the outcome was invisible. The divine encounter did not reward her for being perfect. It rewarded her for being consistent in the waiting. You have been consistent in the waiting. Even when it did not feel like consistency, even when it felt like survival, like dragging yourself through another day with barely enough faith to lift your eyes. That was still showing up. And heaven recalled every appearance. Now, once you understand that your consistency has been currency, you are ready for this next layer. Because there is something coming with this encounter that you have not fully prepared yourself to receive, and it is not more pain. It is just more. More responsibility, more visibility, more weight of purpose, more of what you have been asking for, which means more of what has been required of you. And if you have been secretly hoping that the breakthrough would finally let you rest, that once the door opens you can exhale and coast, that is a misunderstanding of what a chosen one's arrival actually initiates. Esther did not walk through Ahasuerus' door and then rest. She walked through that door and then faced the most dangerous moment of her entire life. The favor was real. The risk was also real. The encounter was the beginning of the assignment, not the end of the endurance. She had to be prepared not just to receive access, but to use it, under pressure, with precision, at the right moment, for the right purpose. This is why the preparation you have been through has felt so intense. You have not been being prepared for a reward. You have been being prepared for a role. There is a difference. A reward is something you receive and enjoy. A role is something you step into and become. God has not been preparing you for a gift. He has been preparing you to carry something, and you do not give that kind of weight to someone who is not ready. Stay with me, because what is coming next is the part that breaks the cycle, and I mean that literally. There is a cycle that is repeated in your life, that you have probably named by now. You see the opportunity. You step toward it. Something disrupts. You return to the starting point. You rebuild. You see the opportunity again. You step toward it again. The disruption comes differently this time, wearing a different face, but producing the same result. And somewhere in the back of your mind, a theology has been forming. An unconscious one, not spoken aloud, not consciously believed, but quietly operative. That you are somehow designed for near breakthrough rather than breakthrough itself. That theology is a lie, but it is a sophisticated one, because it is built from real events. Every near breakthrough actually happened. The disruptions were real. The returns to the starting point were real. The enemy has taken your actual history and used it to write a false prophecy over your future. He has taken what was and whispered it as what will always be. Here is what the cycle actually was. It was not evidence of your limitation. It was preparation of your capacity. Every time the breakthrough came close and then withdrew, something in you expanded to contain more. You could not have handled at the beginning what you are being handed now. Not because you were unworthy, but because you were not yet formed enough to hold it without breaking. The withdrawals were not rejections. They were calibrations, and now the calibration is complete. But here is the part you probably did not expect. And this is where everything you have heard tonight gets reframed in a way that may take you a moment to settle into. The thing that has been blocking your final breakthrough is not the enemy. It is not your past. It is not the people who betrayed you, or the doors that were closed in your face, or the prayers that seemed to hit the ceiling. Those were real obstacles, but they were not the final one. The final obstacle has been your own protection mechanism. The one you built to survive the near breakthroughs. The one that learned, after enough cycles, to hold something in reserve, to not give everything, to not believe completely, to keep one foot in unbelief as a safety net, so that if it does not come through this time, you are not completely destroyed. You have been protecting yourself from full hope, because full hope, after everything you have been through, has felt like the most dangerous thing in the world. And God is not angry with you for building that protection. He understands exactly why it exists, but He is asking you to take it down now. Not because the risk is gone, not because He is guaranteeing you will never experience disappointment again, but because the encounter that is coming cannot land on guarded ground. It requires open hands. It requires a heart that is willing to be fully exposed to hope one more time, knowing full well what it has cost before, and choosing to hope anyway. That is not naivety. That is the most advanced form of faith there is. This is the moment where the final shift has to happen. Not in your circumstances, but in your posture. The encounter is already in motion. The road is already being made. The question is not whether they are coming. The question is whether you will be standing with open hands when they arrive, or whether you will still be holding your heart at a safe distance, watching the meeting happen through protective glass, never quite letting it touch you all the way. Drop the glass. Open your hands. Let it land. Place your hand on your heart right now and declare this with me. I release every agreement I made with delay. I release the theology that near breakthrough is my portion. I release the protection I built from my pain, and I open my hands to receive without reservation. I declare that the encounter already in motion is meeting me in full readiness. I am not behind. I am not disqualified. I am not forgotten. I am a chosen one standing inside an open window, and what heaven has sent is arriving now. I will not protect myself from hope. I will not shrink from what is coming. I receive the weight of the role, the fullness of the arrival, and the completion of every promise spoken over my life. I am ready. I am open. I am here. And it is done. If this message carried something your spirit needed, do not leave this channel without subscribing and turning on notifications. There is more coming, and your spirit already knows it needs to be here when it does. Share this with someone who has been on the edge of giving up. Not because you think they need a video, because you know they need to know they have not missed the meeting. Leave a comment below and tell me what shifted. I read them, and I will be watching for your testimony when the encounter arrives.